Hello, everybody. We're getting closer to the end of the week with Josh. It's midweek, it's Wednesday, and we're up to episode part 8. We're going to continue where we left off with yesterday, where we were still in the middle of how he chooses certain mechanisms to manage his, how can I say it, his coping mechanisms. That's the two words I'm looking for. And the humour. I just couldn't stop laughing. But we're also going to look at another serious part where we look at societal progress and personal identity. Josh talks about how progression isn't what it seems to be. We always look at it from the other point, don't we? But taking it in from Josh's point, his perspective is actually really important for us to acknowledge. It's not as progressed as some may think, and he knows that. He knows this firsthand, and even just based on the comments that he receives online too. He also talks about how he used to respond to the comments online negatively, using filters to filter out certain keywords, but would find himself looking at that, whether when he was even feeling bad, to dig even deeper into his hurt, or just to see what people were writing about that day. But he doesn't really spend much time looking at that shit anymore, which is very healthy. But that's towards the end, and we'll obviously come back for episode 9 where we're going to continue with that tomorrow on Thursday. Anyway, enough from me. Here we are with Josh.
I didn't really get much sleep that night because I just couldn't. I was like, what is going on? What is my life? And then
what were those likes and comments? Were they just coming out with love?
There was. From people that I had gone to school with, that was messaging me, that just had me on Facebook from school of I just wanted to let you know, it's so lovely, and I just glad you're able to live your life the way you want to. And I was like, I don't know how to respond to that. I was like, okay. I didn't know how to respond to that because it was just what do I say to this? I've never done this before. And it was just so frightening, and just, I'd never seen so many comments on something before. And it just kind of changed my whole life. It really did. I sometimes will look at that video and just watch that. It was 18 minutes long of me just rambling. And I just watch it sometimes, and I just look in my own eyes. I'm just look how fucking frightened I am. It's just because it was terrifying. I was doing a lot of looking down like this because I was just well, what is going on? I've never really said this out loud to pretty much anybody. So it was yeah, because I never had an in-person conversation with any of my peers. I didn't come out to anybody ever. I just didn't. But yeah, it was scary. It was frightening.
What was your mum's response? How did they? Because I know you pretty much walked out from your sisters, but I'm guessing they were supportive. But how do you feel they felt?
Well, my sister kind of just looked at me because, I don't know, with my siblings, with my whole family, really, we've never been touchy, huggy kind of family. We've just never been like that. We know we love each other, but we don't really tell each other that much. My sister just said, all I wanted to hear in those times were, I didn't want big elaborate things. I just wanted to just hear the words okay. It's okay. I still love you. And that's all she said, and that's all she needed to say to me. My mum is very oh my God, I love you, blah, 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 blah. It was very elaborate, but that's just how mums are. But I just wanted to be my biggest thing was don't treat me any different. Don't treat me like a golden boy. Don't treat me worse or better. Just treat me like you've known, just treat me like me.
Yeah. Of course.
That's all I really cared about too, was my family and my close friends of how they felt about it. And they were all lovely. I did lose a few relationships with a bit of my family, but I kind of knew that was going to happen because just the way they're wired.
Who did you lose in your family, if I can ask?
My nana, so my dad's mum, she was always pretty anti that kind of lifestyle. And I'm honestly, there was a time where I was very much I've got to change everybody's opinion. This is the way. I don't need to change any. I'm doing my thing. They're doing their thing. I don't need to associate with those kind of people. And I don't need to change anyone's views. I just want to live my life. So that's how I kind of take it. Some people in this community are a little bit more you got to fight. And I want, rights, and that is all important. But I'm just doing my thing. I'm just living my life. I don't need to, I don't know, scream to the rooftops to change everybody's opinion. That's their problem, not mine. Do you know what I mean?
From obviously that struggle, you've painted a good picture in the last 10 minutes of that struggle that you dealt with coming out, and still having that to hide, or shy away from telling people that you were gay. How did you get away from that pain? How did you deal with going through that messy middle to the point you're at now?
Time.
Yeah. Okay.
There's nothing that I did.
Yeah.
It was just getting comfortable. And it
Sure.
took a little while. But I don't know, just over time, just got more comfortable. I think the biggest thing for me was I've always used humor as a coping mechanism for so many things. I like being funny, and I like kind of making those jokes that other people are like, whoa, you're going to joke about that? I'm like, it's my trauma. I can joke about it if I want because I'm past it in my life. When I started making jokes about it, that's when I felt like I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm starting to get past this because I'm not afraid to joke about it. And I don't shy away from those kind of things. Like, you go to my Twitch and watch me live on Twitch, and the amount of gay jokes I make about myself is truly just outstanding. Really, it's actually kind of like at the point where I'm like, how do I even get this out of my brain? But it's just because I'm comfortable. Like, I'm comfortable enough to make those jokes because that's what they are. They're funny. There's been, I mentioned before, like, stereotypes and that. I don't believe in any I hate when people are like, oh, you're gay, so you must like drag queens and you must like painting your nails, and I don't know. It's like, no, the thing that makes me gay is that I sleep with men. That's the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Everything else in between is just like, people are like, you like sport? You listen to metal music? What? But I thought all gay people listen to Lady Gaga. I'm like, I guess Bad Romance is an okay song, but fuck off. I don't really care. Like, I'm just myself. It just happens to be that really, I guess it's no one's business, but like at the end of the day this is what I like to, sleep with. Like,
that's it.
That's all that
It's a
makes
feeling.
me, that's all that makes me gay. But so many society still spews that, like, you're gay, so you must like this, or you're gay, so you must do this, or you must, whatever, you must talk a certain way, dress a certain way, drive a certain car. Like, you just do these little things, and it's like, well, no, I'm just me. I don't know. It's crazy though. Like, you probably would be even more so than you think of, like, how much you get put in a box when you come out, especially when you're a person that's chronically online.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if I'm wrong, but my experience living in the UK to where moving even to Australia, where Melbourne is a big city. I mean, I'm an hour out of Melbourne too. But going off what people say and what I've experienced, I do feel like Australia's behind the times in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, some people are like, oh my God, like, I know there's a lot of talk about America at the moment and what's going on in that country. And rightfully so, but like, people are like, oh, you've got it lucky. I'm like, this country did not legalize gay marriage until 2017. I was an adult when that was going down. Like, that is crazy. And we're seeing it now just around the world of like how easily that can get taken away. And I don't think people sometimes understand of like how scary that is for someone like me. As fast as it can get put into place, that can get taken away. And I don't think this country is in a spot where it's going to take anything away or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just like, just look at how it's used just in those politically, I guess you could say. I guess it's so easy for it to be gone, equality and all that kind of stuff for anyone in this world. And I'm pretty privileged. Like, if you just look at me, I'm like a white generic boy. Like, I'm pretty privileged, but it is a scary place of just like, it's not, people think society has progressed in a certain way when I don't think it actually has. When you should see a lot of, for someone who's got a small following, I can imagine what it's like being a big person on the internet. The amount of comments that I have to filter out because they're calling me slurs. Society is not as progressed as everybody spews. It's just not. With younger generation, like Gen Zers, my little brother was the easiest person to tell because he was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I just think it's in society now with kids of just like, be who you want to be. Like, it's not just like automatically assumed that you're going to be this way and you're going to do these things. Like, he just kind of, he was the easiest because that's their generation. They're just so much more, they're so much more progressive. It's people my age and older that, and not everybody, I'm not saying everybody is like that, but just in a general sense, that's just how it is. But it's not progressive.
Do you get negative comments online then? Still?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, you should see my YouTube.
I mean, I've been on, but I didn't see those negative comments. Like, what type of negative comments do you get?
Delete that shit. People don't need to see that.
No.
I get rid of it.
Can you share, not word for word, but give us make it obvious, but what type of comments do you get that you delete?
You should go and die, you F-slur.
Really?
100. I get people in my Twitch chat that like come in when I'm just live, and I just tell people to fuck off. I know it's not always good to feed the hate, but sometimes I'm just like, please go away.
That's terrible, man.
But that's just a part of when you come out, especially again, when you're online and you're doing this kind of work, that's a part of the struggle of it, of like, I know that I'm going to be opening up myself to these things. When I got those interviews with the WWE talent, dude, I was getting so many more eyeballs on me. So many more people, not the majority, I'm talking a small vocal minority, would just get on my Twitter and just get in comments and being like, was going to watch this, but then I found out you're a homo. And I'm like, sick, man. Don't want your view anyway. Like, that's just how I am. That shit used to grind my gears. Like, that shit used to get under my skin and make me so upset. But now I'm just kind of like, that's on you, not me. Like, that you must have something going on in your life where you have to just tell a stranger this. Like, it's like, what has this got to do with the price of eggs anyway? Like, I'm talking about something as dumb, which I love, as pro wrestling. Like, what are you talking about? Get out of here.
Right.
No, but that's just how it is. Like, people think that's just like easy and, oh, you just get to live your life and do what you do. It's like, my God, people, I may as well be out here like putting winkers in my mouth at this stage of like putting that on the internet because people just automatically assume that's what I'm going to shove down their throat. It's like, no, that's why are we even in this world like that? Like, I don't understand. Society is a messed up place. Like, it really is. Like, it honestly is the worst. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't leave those and I don't highlight a lot. Used to sometimes would screenshot that shit and be like, own them and being like, look at them. Then people would dogpile them and it was awful. I know I did that, made that bed for myself, but like, I don't, it doesn't faze me anymore. I'm just like, get out of here. Like, that's obviously they've got way more of a issue than I do because they're going out of their way to do that crap. Like, if you don't like it, just block me and move on. Like, I don't care. I don't want you watching my stuff anyway.
Yeah. I mean, again, for you to respond in the way you responded in such this healthy, positive way, because a lot of people could go into a dark rabbit hole with that. Just it's evidence, the work you've done mentally and physically just to get yourself in this great state of mind where you can just brush it off. Because I used to struggle. If I had a conversation, I probably didn't even, but if I thought I'd upset somebody, I would lose sleep that night. Like,
oh my God.
You know what I mean? I had to work on myself heavily to not, and I'm probably like you now. If you're not wanting to be on the journey with me, you served your purpose in my life, great, and we had a great time. But if you're not ready to ride the new ride with me, and it's not what I gave you before, but I'm enjoying it, and you don't want to join me, then okay.
I've got like the auto filter of certain words that I've wrote in like my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, so automatically just filters out. But I can still go in and manually look at those if I want to. So if I'm ever feeling pretty down about myself, I'll just go in there and just double down, you know what I mean? And just look at what people are writing. Or just sometimes I do it for a laugh because I'm just like, what are these people writing today? But yeah, that's just a part of it. It's just, I don't know. Again, I don't really tell people this kind of stuff because I'm just like, well, I never want to be in the spot where people are like, you're attention seeking and you're doing this just for like, look at me, I'm getting bullied. And it's like, well, but that's, I don't know. I don't need that clout. Like, I don't need it. And I used to screenshot everything and post it and being like, look at this piece of shit. But now it's just like, imagine taking the time out of honestly, I think that's just as bad as the person writing it, because then you're just opening up people to dogpile on them. And again, guilty of that, but like I haven't done that in a long time, because it's just like, what is the point of this?
You're doing well. I remember I remember laughing in the pre-chat because you shared with me, and you said this in a very humorous way. But I remember you telling me that you always feel the need to tell people that you're gay every time you meet them now. And I remember you telling me, I have something to tell you.
It's just because I got in the mindset of it's gonna come up at some stage, so may as well just blurt it out now. So like
for our conversation, because it's important to your journey, isn't it?
Sure, yeah, no, but like it's just in meeting anybody. Like you got to remember, if you want to look at it like on a deeper level, like every time I meet somebody, if they don't know me, I have to come out in a sense. It's not as dramatic and emotional and all of that, but I have to tell them at some stage where you necessarily don't have to do that. They just automatically assume that about like you're just a straight guy and living your life. But I've got to come. So sometimes I just like break the ice of like meeting someone. Like if my friends are out with someone and they're like, "Oh, this is Josh," I'm like, "What's up? I'm homosexual." And then they just kind of like are like, "Oh, okay, sweet." And I'm like, because honestly too, it's a good little judgment of character, because if someone kind of like turns their nose up, I'm like, well, I know I don't got to waste my time with you.
Join us tomorrow to hear more from today's incredible guests and learn valuable insights to help you lead your own way. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you then.